What's up YouTube? It's the one and only Legend of Winning, aka Low, and I'm back with another video. Now, for people out there who are completely unaware, the NBA is on fire even though it's in the off season. Quite honestly, you can make a very legitimate argument that the NBA off season so far is more entertaining than the regular season itself. And the big reason why that is because all the trades and the rumors that have been going on over the past couple of days. Now, I'm not going to get into details about every single last one of them. That's why you need to follow me on Twitter. However, this video I will spend time talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and what exactly they're trying to do moving forward. Because I think a lot of people have overreacted to the move that they've made with Timofey Mozgov and D'Angelo Russell, sending them both to the Brooklyn Nets and in return receiving Brook Lopez. Matter of fact, for those who are completely unaware, let's just look at the trade real quick so you can get a better understanding of what exactly I'm talking about. So, D'Angelo Russell and Timofey Mozgov are being sent to the Brooklyn Nets, and in return, Brook Lopez and the number 27th pick in this year's draft is being sent to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, for the Brooklyn Nets, I think it's extremely obvious on why they did this. This is a team that has pawned off every single last future asset that they've had over the last couple years, and even next year as well, which their draft pick will go to the Boston Celtics, which is ridiculous because they are still paying the repercussions of a move that they made several years ago when they received Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry from the Celtics, and probably one of the most lopsided trades in all of sports. So they have to make some moves. Picking up D'Angelo Russell from the Los Angeles Lakers obviously makes sense, and in return they might have to bite one of the worst contracts in the NBA right now, which is Timofey Mozgov, who's making roughly around $16 million a year for the next 3 seasons. However, because this is a team that doesn't have any future assets in their possessions, yeah, they're going to have to take a couple of L's in hopes that D'Angelo Russell will pan out for the future. Now, on the other hand, why exactly did the Los Angeles Lakers make this move? Because I know that's what a lot of people are really clicking this video for and trying to figure out what exactly the Lakers are doing. Now, the first thing that people need to understand is don't be upset at Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka. What both of them are trying to do right now as the new executives of the Los Angeles Lakers, they're trying to basically correct the wrong that was made last year with Mitch Kupchak and Jim Buss. The second thing you need to know is D'Angelo Russell is nowhere near as great as a lot of people are pegging him out to be. I've watched preseason games, regular season games, summer league games, practices, and I watched him interview. There is no signs of D'Angelo Russell being a franchise player, especially because the Lakers more than likely will be drafting his replacement in Lonzo Ball in the next couple of days. D'Angelo Russell, at best, will make the All-Star game a couple of times and put up really solid numbers on a bad team, which is the Brooklyn Nets. So when his numbers start to inflate a little bit, please don't lose your mind, because again, D'Angelo definitely would not have been putting up those numbers playing in the same backcourt with Lonzo Ball. Also, when it comes to the Lakers, why pick up Brook Lopez? And this right here actually leads into the bigger picture here. Brook Lopez is an expiring contract. Sure, Brook Lopez is probably one of the better bigs in the NBA. In my opinion, he's not even top 10. However, the one thing that people keep overlooking with the Los Angeles Lakers is not necessarily what they're doing this year, but it's how they're preparing themselves for next year. Because over and over again, Paul George has consistently said that he wants to play for the Lakers. So because of that, it makes sense for the Lakers to relieve themselves of cap so they will be able to take him on moving forward. So now if Paul George joins the team, who is probably a top 10 to 15 player in the NBA, that obviously attracts a lot of other players to join the organization, including LeBron James. Now, why exactly do I keep saying LeBron, and why do I think LeBron is going to join the Los Angeles Lakers? Over the past couple of days, there has been a lot of things that have been going on with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and really just a lot of teams that does not make any sense whatsoever, that makes me believe someone behind the curtain is really pushing the buttons of a couple of owners and general managers to figure out where exactly their team is at and if everyone is on the same page. And if everybody ain't on the same page, then next year there's going to be a couple of people moving around the NBA, and it does include LeBron James. So why exactly do I say that? So for one, it was completely weird in the middle of a Monday that the Cleveland Cavaliers were making calls to trade Kevin Love, which again makes sense. However, the general manager just steps down. Now, for people out there who don't know who the general manager is, his name is David Griffin, and he finally stepped down from the organization. Now, again, this doesn't make any sense. I understand that his contract was coming up and it was going to expire anyway, and these were things that people were talking about around the league. However, if you are the general manager and you're making phone calls for the organization, more than likely what you're trying to do is persuade the owner to make the decision to keep you on the team, so you're trying to show your value by making a blockbuster trade that included Jimmy Butler, which makes sense. However, if you're in the middle of that trade, why out of nowhere would the owner just decide not to keep you? Again, that makes no sense. Another thing that completely threw me off was the trade rumors. Now, obviously, when it comes to trade rumors, one thing you got to keep in mind, the louder the trade rumor is, the odds of it happening goes down significantly. And over the last 24 hours, there's been a lot of trade rumors that have been bouncing around over and over again that really and truly don't make any sense whatsoever. However, it is extremely odd of the players that have been in trade rumors. So one, you have Kevin Love. Now that makes sense. Kevin Love does play with LeBron. However, Kevin Love is always going to be the scapegoat for the failures of the Cavaliers. So that really didn't throw me off. However, what did throw me off was Jimmy Butler. Now, Jimmy Butler, he plays with D Wade. In the middle of Jimmy Butler being talked about being traded or moved around, D Wade actually opted in to his contract for his last year, which is something that people aren't talking about. Another thing about Jimmy Butler is, why would Butler go to Cleveland? That just doesn't make any sense at all. Cleveland doesn't have the assets, especially the young assets, to send to Chicago for Chicago to okay that trade. Literally makes no sense at all. The second name that got brought up out of nowhere was Kyrie. Why would Kyrie Irving be in trade talks unless you don't think LeBron is going to stay? But Kyrie, ironically enough, plays with LeBron. So now that's another name that's tied with the Banana Boat team. So after that, another name was brought up. Who plays with Melo? Porzingis. Why would Porzingis be brought up out of nowhere? That makes no sense. And then the last name that got brought up, and it's still being talked about right now, is DJ. DeAndre Jordan plays with Chris Paul. Why would you bring up DeAndre Jordan's name in trade talks unless you don't think Chris Paul is going to stay with the organization? So to me, it's just not coincidental that all of those names were brought up at the exact same time. Like literally, it was one right after the other, right after the other, right after the other. And after a couple of hours, each rumor just dissipated. And for me, that sounds like players behind the curtains are pushing the buttons of some of their owners and general managers just so we can all figure out if we're on the same page. And like I stated earlier, if we're not on the same page, then trust me, I'm going to be out of here. If the Cleveland Cavaliers are unable to get Paul George, then what is LeBron's point of staying on the Cavs? LeBron did his part for the organization. He led that team to the finals 3 years in a row, won a championship, so he's done everything that he said he was supposed to do. Furthermore, out of the blue, which is something else that's completely weird, why is LeBron all of a sudden talking about the letter that Dan Gilbert wrote about LeBron several years ago? Why would he decide right now, in the middle of an offseason in which you're trying to get better, why would you talk about that letter that was written over 5 years ago at this point? It literally makes no sense. So in my estimation, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, this is what you're trying to do. You draft Lonzo Ball, get Paul George. Now you have experience with youth on your side. LeBron is on a team that if they don't get Paul George or potentially even Jimmy Butler, if they're stuck with Kevin Love, it's literally the exact same team that went to the finals this year. So if they weren't able to beat that Golden State Warriors teams this year, why would LeBron just keep staying on the same team? Why would he not take matters into his own hands like he's done before and make the decision to go somewhere else? And if you make that decision to go play with the Lakers, for one, as you age, Paul George will get better, and then after that, Lonzo will get better. So there's always going to be a consistent level of excellence that will be around you. Two, you're dealing with one of the greatest organizations in all of sports. So not only is it easier for you to get veterans on the team, because really LeBron is the one who's been convincing veterans to take pay cuts to play for Cleveland. There is no one who has to convince any veteran to go play for the Lakers. LeBron doesn't have to be the general manager anymore. He can just focus on being the player the great player that he already is, but continue to add into his game and so he can age gracefully instead of worrying about a whole bunch of other extra nonsense. So with all that being said, people, hit the like button. Yo, let me get an LA all day in the comment section. Follow me on Twitter because I am updating my Twitter pretty consistently. And also tomorrow I will be uploading my final draft prediction. I've been trying to connect the dots to this crazy things over the last couple of hours, so I didn't really have too much time to do that. But sooner than later, probably more early on in the morning, I will have my final mock draft out for everyone to consume. So I'll see you all then. LeBron to Los Angeles, and peace.